Max Verstappen is admitting defeat to Lando Norris, confessing that this year's F1 title is out of his hands. His confidence is at an all-time low right now, and McLaren's Zak Brown has no reservations about kicking the Dutchman while he's down. Here's everything you missed. With McLaren emerging as the team to beat, Lando Norris is now just 62 points behind Verstappen with 8 races left on the calendar. Max Verstappen is fighting to secure a 4th consecutive World Championship, but recent upgrades to the RB20 haven't sparked the performance boost the team hoped for. After finishing 6th in Monza, Verstappen conceded that retaining the title is looking increasingly unlikely, even with a big points lead. "I just do the best I can. If I win the title, it or not, it's not going to change my life," Verstappen said. "Would I like to win it? Yes, of course. But it's not in my hands with the performance of the car, because I just try to do the best I can. Try to give feedback. Try to make it faster. If that's going to be enough to the end of the year, I don't know. But I do know that we're going to give it everything we have as a team, to try and be more competitive than what we've shown and just go from there. Would I like to win more? Yes, of course. But I also knew that a season like last year is very unrealistic. But did I expect it to be like this? Not really, with how we ended and how we started. So now it's up to us to just try and make it better. But I know that everyone is working flat out to make it better. I mean, we know the balance problems, but now it's up to us to try and make the car better, to drive and more competitive. I think we are understanding where we need to find stuff. What we see in the wind tunnel, what we see from CFD, that is not the problem." Just a week after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the F1 circus makes its way from Baku to Singapore, leaving Red Bull Racing with a tight timeline to address the RB20's recent performance issues. Max Verstappen acknowledges that there is a growing sense of urgency within the team, but he stops short of specifying when further updates might be expected. Before the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, it came to light that Verstappen had voiced concerns earlier in the year about the car not feeling right. But when questioned by a group of Dutch media, the Dutch driver said, "There is definitely listening, but it is difficult to find a solution. We are checking things, but that will take longer. It's not like after the summer break I thought, now all of a sudden things are going well. We just need time to test and evaluate. It's just unfortunately taking a bit longer than we want." The issues are hardly new for Verstappen, who sensed something was amiss even during his race-winning streak. "Back then, we already won a few races we really shouldn't have won," he admits. "As long as the urgency is there now, that's very important. And that's there now, I think." The 3-time world champion is hoping that upcoming new parts will enhance the car's balance. But Verstappen remained tight-lipped when questioned about specific upgrades. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella had a witty response to Max Verstappen's recent comments about Red Bull's 2024 title chances. When asked about Verstappen's admission, Stella quipped to the media that Verstappen is good also with his tongue, saying, "Max is good also with his tongue, not only good on track. Obviously he knows that the car is driving at the moment seems to provide him with some challenges." McLaren was unable to fully capitalise on Red Bull's recent struggles, failing to convert a front-row lockout into a race win as Charles Leclerc, who opted for a one-stop strategy, took the victory. The Woking-based squad's chances took a hit right from the start when Oscar Piastri's aggressive move on Lando Norris allowed Leclerc's Ferrari to split their cars. Post-race, Andrea Stella revealed that the team's review would examine whether Piastri's bold overtaking manoeuvre at the second chicane adhered to McLaren's rules of engagement. Stella also hinted that team orders might be implemented to ensure McLaren maximises its chances of clinching both championships and overcoming Red Bull in 2024. "We need to be better at capitalising on the opportunity Red Bull at the moment seem to offer, by not being in the usual possibility of competing for podiums," he warned. "It's definitely a worthwhile exercise to review in the specifics, not only of the entire race, but the entire race. Even on the first lap, because I hope we will be in the condition to have these situations frequently in the future. It means the 2 McLarens will start from the front of the grid, but we need to make sure that this is the best for the team and the best for Lando." Zak Brown is optimistic that McLaren will be in contention for pole positions and race wins in each of the remaining 8 Grand Prix weekends this season. The McLaren CEO aims to put pressure on Red Bull, but remains cautious of the strong competition from Ferrari. Lando Norris faces a 62-point deficit to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' World Championship, with 8 Grands Prix and 3 sprint races still to come. The pressure is mounting for Verstappen, who risks ending his streak of titles. However, Red Bull Racing is under even greater strain in the Constructors' Championship, with McLaren closing in, just 8 points behind. Some even see the British team as favourites to take the lead after the Baku race. Ferrari and Mercedes have shown impressive pace in recent races, though both teams have also experienced off weekends. Mercedes, after securing 3 wins in 4 races before the summer break, struggled in Zandvoort, while Ferrari had a challenging period before Monza, where Charles Leclerc secured a victory. Despite this, Zak Brown believes McLaren will remain competitive across various circuits. He explained to Sky Sports, "I don't see why we can't be going for the win every race weekend. I think we're going to have tough competition, but we've shown our car is good in all conditions, all different types of circuits. We were very strong in Singapore last year." Sergio Perez stands as the most successful driver in Formula One history at Baku, having amassed 115 points at the circuit. Lewis Hamilton is the next closest with 85 points. Perez is the only driver to have secured multiple victories at the venue. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz have yet to claim a win in Baku. The diverse list of winners underscores the challenging nature of the race, a reality Zak Brown is all too aware of. Baku is always a bit of a crazy race, but we're going to show up every weekend trying to go for pole, trying to go for a front row lockout, trying to win. I'm sure it won't quite work like that for the next 8 races because the competition is tough, Brown warns before being wary of Ferrari. I think what we have is a 3-way race for the Constructors' Championship, because Ferrari is 30 points behind, but look at them. In Monza, it was them and us. It's exciting to see what happens. Guenther Steiner is sounding the alarm about Red Bull's prospects for next season, fearing that the team's bad decisions with the RB21 could leave them uncompetitive right out of the gate in 2025. The former Haas team principal criticised Red Bull's failure to prepare a bespoke package for the Italian Grand Prix, calling it a near-arrogant move. Speaking with media after Monza, Max Verstappen called for the team to turn the car upside down after what he described as making the RB20 a monster. On the Red Flags podcast, Steiner doubled down, pointing to Red Bull's lack of a low downforce rear wing for Monza as evidence of their complacency following a strong start to 2024. Now, he fears Red Bull might not be competitive at the start of the 2025 season, given their ongoing struggle to solve the RB20's mid-season issues. Steiner said, "Next year, we need to see where the Red Bull is. It doesn't seem like that they are making a lot of advances, that they will be ready for next year. I think they were a little bit underperforming in Monza." Max said they didn't have a special Monza spec, they didn't develop one, and I think that came out of their early F1 2024 dominance. When you start to think about the Monza spec, you're developing it at the beginning of the year. And they said, "Our car is good enough anyway. We don't need the Monza spec, let's put the effort into other things." And then here you are. You needed a Monza spec because everybody else brought quite a big package for it. Everybody else put a lot of effort in to bring one. I think Red Bull were the only ones not bringing one, and this obviously was not what they wanted, but it was too late to change their mind or too late to develop something, so that is where they ended up. They were in a good position at the beginning of the year and they keep on going backwards, making bad decisions. No specific aero kit for Monza. It's almost arrogance. So, is Max Verstappen right to hand the crown to Lando Norris this early? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.